What's that? Oh, great. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the title for today's class, Mindset Matters, but that actually has nothing to do with it. So AI picked that title, so it doesn't know. Cool. So work-life balance. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. And in real estate, especially, this can be a troubling topic, right? So we're gonna kind of jump into how to navigate this. I really truly believe that if you're growing, you should be embarrassed about some things that you said 3 or 4 years ago. Is that fair? If you think back to yourself 3 or 4 years ago, things that were true to you then, they're a little cringy. So the first panel that I ever sat on for Keller Williams, it was in Conshohocken. And I think it was Andrew asked me a question about work-life balance. And I said something like, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can for the next 10 years, and I'm going to enjoy it for the next 20, and that's going to be my work-life balance. Right? Looking back on that, maybe a little cringy. And because at the time I was actually in the middle of my daughter's golden years, and she was maybe 5 or 6 at the time. And if you ever had a kid, you know that there are 10 years. For 10 years, you're the most important person in their life. And then after that time, their friends are, or their relationships are, or their teachers are, or whatever, right? And so I was in the middle of that time when I made that statement, and it was true to me then, but has changed for me a little bit now. So I had to decide whether I was playing the game wrong, or was I playing the wrong game, right? And it turns out that I was playing the game wrong. And I still believe that real estate is the greatest vehicle for wealth creation in the United States. I still believe this is the greatest industry in the United States, but greatest career path. But how do we play it the right way, right? How do we play it the right way? So we're gonna do a little bit of an exercise. So grab your pen and grab your paper, and I want you to pick someone in your life that means a ton to you. Anyone you want, someone in your life that means a ton to you. Preferably not someone that lives with you. Okay? Someone that lives out separate from you, that's super important in your life. And I want you to write their name and the number of times you see them per year. Okay. If you want us to pick your favorites, right? If they're still available, right? All right. When you're done, and then I want you to tell me what is my God. I want you to write down how old they are. Okay? Write down how old they are, and write down how old you are. And then whoever's the oldest between the two of you, I want you to subtract that number from 80. Your parents are 65, you subtract that from 80. Be 15. That's with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
You said it, sorry.
Yeah. So you have your person, right?
Yeah.
You have the number of times you see them per year. Your age and their age. Whoever's the oldest, you're going to use their number and subtract it from 80. So if they're 40 years old, that answer would be 40. And then I want you to multiply that by the number of times, the number we put up here, the number of times you see them per year. And what you're going to get is the number of the times that you're going to see that person before they die, on average. Oh, wow. What are some of the numbers that you guys see?
72.
72,
400.
400, awesome,
500.
500,
588.
588.
8,700.
Woo, awesome, keep your loved ones close, awesome. What a low number. Yeah,
40.
40, okay,
56.
20, 56,
Yeah.
it's your life, I can't tell you,
Right.
right? But, this exercise, I think, is particularly compelling, because it kind of, it's a little later than we think. Right? It's a little later than we think. And so this is like what we call a time wealth hard reset, right? Just kind of just bring into awareness the amount of time that we have with the people that are closest, right? Average human lives to the age of 80. These are real numbers, right? These are real numbers. So this is particularly important to me because neither of my parents are with me, and I saw them about once a year, on average, right? And neither of them lived to be 80, by the way. You're not guaranteed, just in case you're wondering. But like, neither of them lived to be 80. But if I had done this exercise for them when they were both around, both of their numbers would have been less than 20, right? Both their numbers would have been less than 20. So I just think it's just a good way to start the conversation about how to balance these careers that are so important to us with having a life like that we truly love and honors people that are around us. Cool? You guys with me so far? Yes. All right. Okay. So we're gonna do a little quiz. With that in mind, take one of these and pass it back. We're gonna score a number of different areas of your life. By the way, a lot of what we're talking about is very heavily borrowed from this book. It means that it's the 5 Types of Wealth by Will Bloom. It's had a big impact. I wanted to share some of that stuff. So this is his wealth score. So I'm going to ask you questions about each of the 5 areas of wealth. He talks about the 5 areas of wealth as there's financial, which matters, money matters. There's mental, physical, social, and what's the last one? Time. So we're gonna score ourselves in these 5 different kind of segments of wealth, right? Just a little checkup. And what I want you to do is you're gonna score them by 0 to 5. Is that right? No, the section's gonna be 0 to 20. Remind me. And the reason that we're gonna go through these 5 sections is because the way that the world tends to scoreboard who's winning is all financial, right? That's the scoreboard we're used to seeing. And the problem is the scoreboard's a little broken, right?
Yes.
So we're playing the right sport, but the scoreboard's broken. So how do we create a world where the scoreboard incorporates all the different kinds of wealth that are important to us, right? So we're gonna do that today. As soon as I can figure out how to score. Okay, so the score of each question is gonna be 0 to 4, okay? 0 is gonna be strongly disagree. 1 is gonna be disagree. 2 is gonna be neutral. 3 is gonna be agree. And 4 is gonna be strongly agree. Got it? So if I ask you a question and you disagree, what's that number? 1. If you strongly disagree, it's 0. If it's neutral, it's 2. 3 is agree, or 4 is strongly. Don't worry, I'll go over that again. All right. So we're gonna do a little quiz. We're gonna start with time wealth. Okay? I want you to answer 0 to 4 0 being strongly disagree, and 4 being strongly agree. I have a deep awareness of the time, I have a deep awareness of the finite, permanent nature of my time, and it's important because it's my most precious asset. I have a deep awareness of the finite, permanent nature of my time and its importance as my most precious asset. Question 2. I have a clear understanding of the 2 to 3 most important priorities in my personal and professional life. I have a clear understanding of the 2 to 3 most important priorities in my personal and professional lives. 3, I'm able to consistently direct attention and focus on the important priorities that I've identified. 0 is strongly disagree, 4 is strongly agree. I'm able to consistently direct attention and focus on the important priorities that I've identified. 4, I rarely feel too busy or scattered to spend time on the most important priorities. I rarely feel too busy or scattered to spend time on the most important priorities. The last one, I am in control of my calendar and priorities. Oh, you need me to repeat any of those? Okay. Now I want you to add all of those scores together. And this is going to be your time wealth score. Cool? Everybody caught up? All right, we're gonna go on to the next section real quick. Your social wealth score. So question number 1, I have a core set of deep, loving, supportive relationships. I have a core set of deep, loving, supportive relationships. Don't worry, keep coming back, man. You're gonna be able to do it. Number 2, I'm consistently able to be the partner, parent, family member, and friend that I would want to have. I am consistently able to be the partner, parent, family member, and friend that I would want to have. Number 3, I have a network of loose relationships I can learn from and build on. I have a network of loose relationships I can learn from and build on. Number 4, I have a deep feeling of connection to a community, local, regional, national, spiritual, political, doesn't matter, or onto something bigger than myself. I have a deep feeling of connection to a community, local, regional, national, spiritual, political, matter, or to something bigger than myself. And the last one is, I do not attempt to achieve status, respect, or admiration through material purchases. Do not attempt to achieve status, respect, or admiration through material purchases. And add those up, that'll be your social wealth. With me so far?
Yes.
All right. Mental wealth. All right. Question number 1, or statement number 1. I regularly embrace a childlike curiosity. I regularly embrace a childlike curiosity. 2, I have a clear purpose that provides daily meaning and aligns short and long-term decision making. Number 2, I have a clear purpose that provides daily meaning and aligns short and long-term decision making. 0, strongly disagree, 1 disagree, 2 neutral, 3 agree, or 4 strongly agree. Number 3, I pursue growth and consistently chase my full potential. I pursue growth and consistently chase my full potential. 4, I have a fundamental belief that I am able to continuously change, develop, and adapt. Number 4, I have a fundamental belief that I am able to continuously change, develop, and adapt. And I have regular rituals that allow me to create space to think, reset, wrestle with questions, and recharge. Last one, I have regular rituals that allow me to create space to think, reset, wrestle with questions, and recharge. Cool? Add those numbers together, we have our mental wealth score. You ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right, physical wealth. I feel strong, healthy, and vital for my age. Number 1, I feel strong, healthy, and vital for my age.
I want to tell you my physical wealth score.
Number 2, I move my body regularly through a structured routine and have an active lifestyle. Number 2, I move my body regularly through a structured routine and have an active lifestyle. Number 3, I eat primarily whole unprocessed foods. Number 3, I eat primarily whole unprocessed foods. Number 4, I sleep 7 or more hours per night on a regular basis and feel rested and recovered. I sleep 7 or more hours per night on a regular basis and feel rested and recovered. And last one, I have a clear plan in place to allow me to physically thrive into my later years. I have a clear plan in place to allow me to physically thrive into my later years. Add those up, and you have your physical wealth score. Ready for the next one? Okay. Last one, financial wealth quiz. I have a clear definition of what it means to have enough financially. I have a clear definition of what it means to have enough financially. Or is that a moving goalpost? Number 2, I have income that is steadily growing alongside my skills and expertise. Number 2, I have income that is steadily growing alongside my skills and expertise. Number 3, I manage my monthly expenses so they are reliably below my income. Number 3, I manage my monthly expenses so that they are reliably below my income. Number 4, I have a clear process for investing excess monthly income for long-term compounding. Number 4, I have a clear process for investing excess monthly income for long-term compounding. And number 5, I use my financial wealth as a tool to build other types of wealth. Number 5, I use my financial wealth as a tool to build other types of wealth. Add those up, and you have your financial wealth score. Okay. Once you have, everybody good? All right. Once you have those scores, I want you to draw it on your, can I use yours for an example?
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna take your height score. All right. So for physical wealth, we have a score of 15. You can see the hash marks here. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a curved line like so, right? Like a piece of pie, right? Draw a curved line that corresponds with that. And then I want you to just kind of shade the inside. This is just a physical representation of what you just calculated. It'll look like that. Make sense? Draw your chart. But it's 15, the curve line length. Don't worry, I won't make anyone share their charts. Class. Just for you. Huh? When you're done, let me know. Yeah. Where did you guys discover?
Maybe get to the gym.
For sure, where'd you guys know these?
There's inconsistencies.
The inconsistent. God, you're like setting up my discussion. Inconsistencies, for sure. What else did you guys notice?
I have really well in the majority of the spaces, and then like it's two spots where it's like kind of beat up a little bit.
Yeah, cool, yeah. What else?
I think a lot of my score, I think is correlated with what it is we do.
For sure. All right, well, I'm gonna let you guys off the hook. It is nearly impossible to have all of it. Welcome to life. Right? Nearly impossible to have all of it. And if you show me someone that has 20s across the board, love to meet them. I'd love to meet them. The reality is, in different seasons of our life, we prioritize different things. Just the reality. So if you have a disjointed pie, that's actually relatively normal, right? Like think about the seasons of your life when you're a kid, right? You know, when my daughter's 12. My daughter cares very little about money, right? Her financial wealth score would be unbelievably, right? Now, she cares a lot about her friends. She cares a lot about her family. She cares a lot about her parents. Her social score would be really high. Does that make sense? Now, she's not thinking about, am I gonna be able to dance when I'm 80? So her physical score might not, like she's active, but she doesn't think about it. It's not purposeful. So when you're in different seasons of your life, different things are important, right? When you're in your, like I'm 47, right? So I'm a little late to the financial party, okay, but I'm running real hard, okay? So your 40s are like supposed to be, in general, are your financial accumulation years. That's what, right? And so if you're in your 40s or your early 50s and financial is your number one, that's also normal. Does that make sense? So we had, like, and also by the time you're 80, you've reverted almost all the way back to that same kids. Now it's all social and physical and mental. Does that make sense? And so we have these seasons of our life. So where you are specifically, don't sweat it. You're creating your own map. There is no right answer. Actually, the key to living a what's the KW thing they say? Living a what kind of
Life by design.
life by design? Thank you. Living a life by design is specifically about your design. And what happens is a lot of times in life we pick up other people's designs because it looks good on them, right? And the reality is we have to pick our own design if we want to design something that's for us. Make sense? So whatever season of your life you're in, that's the season that you're in. Okay? And whatever's important to you right now is what's important to you. There is no right answer. This is why when I look back at that comment that I made at the beginning from that panel, right? It's a little cringy. Because it was like I really felt like that's the way. Right? And there is no the way. It's your way based on what's important to you and the season of your life that you're in. Make sense? So for me right now, I'm still in this high financial section of my life. That's just real. Okay? Like that's where I'm at. And if that's where you're at, that's cool. If it's not where you're at, it's cool too. This is about building your ideal life and not about building anyone else's. Okay. So how then, if I'm in this financial, anybody else in the financial, like high financial time of their lives? Okay. Whose number one priority was physical? Whose number one score was physical? Awesome, love that. Whose number one score was mental? Awesome, love that. How about social? Love it. Time? Oh, everybody's starting on time. Perfect. So I really love that idea of the world as my life is seasons. Because it allows me to change as time goes on, right? And if the reality is I'm in this financial season, I still have this responsibility to the other sections of my pie, right? Because financial, by the way, and financial and mental wealth for me, and time wealth, are all interrelated a little bit, right? But what suffers if I don't watch it? Physical and social. Physical and social are the ones that are going to suffer if I don't pay attention, right? If you're in social and mental and physical, what's going to suffer if you don't watch it? Time and financial, right? So the only way, like if you're thinking about the world from a linear perspective, there is no way to do it all, right? You cannot be in every place at every time. You can't be. If I wanted to spend time with my wife and maximize that, I need to be with her. I don't know, 4 to 5 hours a day, right? Well, if I want to maximize my business, we know this is a crazy business. I might be doing that 12 hours a day. Well, then I'm not sleeping, and then my physical and mental. Does that make sense? So there's not enough hours in the day to be able to score perfectly on everything. So how do we do it, right? How do we create a world where I still maintain a level that is important to me? Does anybody look at their chart and look at a minimum score? Does anybody have a score that's, even though it's not a prioritized section of your life, it's still below acceptable for you? Yeah? Okay, we're going to talk about how we solve that, right? And the key to solving that is the difference between fixed and asymmetric outcomes. Okay? So a fix, this is how we come to learn about the world. You put in one input, you get one output. Put in two, you get two. This is that hours with my wife scenario. Does that make sense? If the only way to show love was hours with my wife, then I would just have to put in more hours to get more output. Does that make sense? Well, the reality is they're asymmetric input-output combinations. We know this intuitively, right? Because if I pick up my wife and take her to the movies, and we hang out together for 5 hours, think about how much credit I've accumulated, right? Now, if I send her 5 texts about how amazing she is on 5 consecutive days, which got more credit? At least they're a tie, right? At least they're a tie. You with me? Now, those 5 texts, how long did that take? 3.5 minutes, right? Same score as the 5 hours, picking her up, going to the movies, hanging out, etc. Make sense? That's an asymmetric outcome. You guys with me? It's an asymmetric outcome. And these exist for us all over the place, right? I have a good friend, my best friend. Lives in Chicago, okay? He's got a family, a business, I got a family, a business, like. We don't get to see each other very much, like once a year would be awesome, it's less than that, right? Now, I work late, he gets up early, like our schedules don't really coincide, so I can't, we don't talk as much as I'd like. It's my best friend and I probably talk to, how often do I talk to Jay? Once every 2 months, right? 6 times a year. On my charts, even though he's my best friend and even though he's 45, theoretically, I'll see Jay another 17 times before he dies. Every other year. Right? Because we're busy. So how do I create, now that's not gonna change, I'm not flying to Chicago every other weekend. Maybe I should make some changes, maybe I should make some fixed changes. But what are some asymmetric changes that I can make for my relationship with my best friend? Oh, sure,
Another calendar call.
100%, yeah, what else? It's good you guys are workshopping my life. What else?
You text him more, because that takes the least amount of time.
Texting, 100%, yeah, we could like exchange funny memes, I mean, that's still connection.
I
Right,
have a group chat with some of my best friends that I haven't seen in months. But it doesn't feel like I haven't seen them in 6 months to a year, because it's still fall all the time.
it's asymmetric, cool. So, while this is the solution, while you're focused on one section of your life, you have to create asymmetric outputs in the sections that you have turned down. This is kind of a concept of like dimmer switches. So like we think of like that, like our life is on-off switches, right? I'm gonna turn on financial, I'm gonna turn on my business, I'm gonna turn off my health, and then later on down the road, I'll turn on my health. But the problem is, when you go to turn on your health, it may not work, right? Like you can't ignore your health in your 40s and 50s and 60s and then pick it up in your 70s. It doesn't work, right? My daughter's 12 years old. I can't turn down my relationship with her for the next 10 years and then pick it up when she's 22. Probably won't work. You guys with me?
Yeah.
So in this world where we're choosing what season we're in, or not choosing. We're choosing what section we're in. I want you to think about it like dimmer switches. And this way of thinking about it changed my life, right? It's dimmer switches. What, even though I'm focusing on financial and mental right now, how do I want to turn down social without turning it off, right? I want to turn down physical without turning it off, right? Like, how do I do that? You guys with me? Okay. So, asymmetric outcomes. So, this is a chart of my daughter's theoretical account. Okay? This, by the way, is a perfect example of an asymmetric outcome. Okay? So, if my daughter got a gift of $5,000 from my mom when she died. Not really, but there was $5,000. We put it into no, that would be smarter. We put it into Apple stock. That's what she wanted. What do you want to invest in? Apple stock. So recently, no, it's okay. Now, if you invest money in the average of the most, like the S&P 500, on average, gains 11% year over year. That's been historically true for the last 80 years, all right? Now, if I were to add $3,600 a year, which is just $300 a month, right? My daughter's 12, by the time she's 62, the balance would be 8.5 million. Okay, this is compound interest, right? It's freaking magic. We do another class of that, right? This is compound interest. So the most important thing here is time. You'll notice that by the end, we'll have deposited $185,000 in her account. But the interest will produce 8.4 million. Right? This is compound interest over 50 years, right? The most important piece of this puzzle is time, right? This is a great example of an asymmetric outcome. You guys with me? Yes. Okay. So this thought process, I think, is really important. Anything that's non-zero compounds, right? This is $200 or $300 a month. It's like not like I'm depositing a ton of money in my dollars account. Okay, it's $300 a month. Anything non-zero compounds. Where does that show up for you guys in your own lives? Like where in your business does that show?
Lead generation.
100%, right? So we're going to talk about a system for that. Where else does that show up?
Relationships,
100%. Relationships.
Going to the gym, eating well.
Health, right? It shows up all over the place. So I'm gonna introduce a concept to you guys. Well, actually, I'm gonna give a shout out to my mom. So my mom taught me. So I went to Penn, and a lot of rich kids at Penn. I was not rich. And so it's Valentine's Day, and one of my hallmates, I wouldn't call him a friend, did that thing where like his girlfriend walks in and the whole dorm room's flowers. You know what I mean? I couldn't compete with that, right? I couldn't compete with that. So my mom taught me about 12 roses. She said, listen, you can buy 12 roses and you get 2 points. Really, you get 1 point, right? Or you can buy 12 roses and then you can give them out over time and you get 1 point for each rose, right? So for Valentine's Day, sorry, this was a different girlfriend. This was 30 years ago.
Free tap. Free city tap.
Like very.
Free city
Yeah,
tap.
100%. They couldn't get into a bar.
Legally.
Legally, that's okay. So, what I did was I took the 12 roses and I followed this gonna maybe in retrospect, maybe this sounds creepy, but I'm gonna tell you this straight anyway. So I followed her around and I gave like different people the rose. So they would like intersect her and hand her a rose randomly. She was in a class and I made a little parachute and I parachuted it in. You know what I mean? 12 different roses delivered by 12 different people in 12 different ways throughout the day, right? 12 roses. Like you can take the same input and you can have a vastly different output, right? If you put some intention behind it. You with me? Okay. So we're going to talk about ABC systems, and this to me is key. So we have on our team we door knock a little bit. I won't invoke your fear about door knocking, but we do door knock a little bit on our team, and generally we like people to door knock 25 houses per open house. That's kind of our standard. Okay. Now most people on our team they struggle. Right? So instead of making it binary, it's 25 or 0, let's just door knock 3 houses. Let's do 3. 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 across the street. Can't tell me you can't do 3. That's a lie.
Yeah.
You can do 3, right? We make a lot of dials on our team, right? Sometimes we sit down, we have a thing on our team called 1,000 Dial Day. We get after it. However, if you can't make your 100 dials today, make 10, right? So the ABC system is C is your ideal, right? Or A is your ideal, well, I gotta think about that one. A is your ideal. What do you want to do today? What's like absolutely crushing it? B, what's in the middle of the road? And C, what's your 3 doors, right? I'm just gonna knock on 3 doors. You're gonna make it 2 doors, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. A, B, and C, because if everything that's non-zero compounds, right? Then the key is to never do 0. Not to always do A. Does that make sense? So Because A gets in the way. Oh, that's a,
Write that down.
okay, yeah, that's good, that's the part. A gets in the way. And so if we have A, B, and C, now you can have a system where you can not let yourself off the hook if you can't do or won't do A today. Sometimes that happens, right? There's no point in beating yourself up, sometimes you don't do A, but I'm gonna do something. Because we're not everything.
And non-zero.
Yes, because anything non-zero compounds, right? Anything non-zero compounds. So as long as we're adding to my daughter's bank account, remember, $3,600 a year, over 50 years, $8.5 million, right? Compounding is asymmetric. So we have, Warren Buffett says the key to creating wealth is to not interrupt a compounding interest cycle. That's the key, right? Relationships, same, right? It's like, yes, we all want an immediate fix. We're gonna go to therapy. We're gonna spend every minute together. It's gonna be amazing, right? Or you can just do small little things over time and allow them to compound. Does that make sense? Asymmetric opportunities are around us everywhere. So what's an asymmetrical thing we can do to increase our time?
Plan better.
Sure. How about spend 5 minutes planning in the morning? Spend 5 minutes planning in the morning, right? Not a huge thing, it's 5 minutes. But over time, that's an asymmetrical difference for your day. Trust me. When you go into your day, when you fling yourself into your day, man, you're against the wall trying to catch things, right? You're just running around putting out fires all day. If you get to play offense on your day, here are my intentions for my day, massive difference. 5 minutes, right? What's another asymmetrical thing we can create in time with?
Systems to help you execute better.
Well, use a calendar, right?
Higher leverage.
Higher leverage,
Prioritize.
love it, right? These are asymmetrical things, even if time isn't your number one thing right now. These are asymmetrical things you can do, love it. What about social? What are some asymmetrical things we can do to increase our social? Exciting things, sorry.
Show up and announce it with your friend's house. Some flowers.
Sure. Show up unannounced, yeah, surprise your friends, right? Yeah, like that. What else?
Say be intentional with who you spend your time with outside of work. I think
Okay.
that's been pretty major for me.
Yep, like that. Choose who the energy givers and the energy takers are and give to the energy givers. Yeah. Huh? What about mental? What are some asymmetrical things that you can do to work on our mental?
You go coffee very slowly in the morning, like I do.
Drink coffee slowly?
Yeah. Or tea,
Yeah,
or a cup of lemon water,
sure,
and just reset.
yeah,
I get up, I get my coffee, I don't look at my phone, I do that first. And then,
perfect example, right?
Plan breaks, I guess, kind of seeing for now.
Love it. Plan breaks both macro and micro,
Right.
right? Yeah, 100%.
For you both listen to podcasts, so listening to music in the car, like actually what is the education?
Love that.
You get out.
Yeah, you could double up on mental and physical, go for a walk, right? Cool. What about physical? Asymmetrical. Remember, anything non-zero compounds. Think small.
2 push-ups.
2 push-ups, right?
Go to the gym at least. Don't have to do anything, just.
Yeah, just walk in the door. Yeah.
You get up at 5 a.m. a day and have like a whole morning routine like you know.
I don't know. if
3:30.
that's- Yeah, yeah.
I gotta say, my bedtime was.
Yeah. Sure, small walks, right? No sugar in your coffee,
So what?
right?
Let's get to that one. Yeah. Let's get black and no.
But it compounds. You ever, the thing about, by the way, we do no sugar in our coffee at home.
Yeah.
Do you know how many pounds of sugar? You like, it's crazy, it's so gross, when you think about like,
Yeah.
that
Sugar,
sugar,
yeah.
and you do it one spoonful at a time, so you never notice, but like. Right? But small little changes, what else can we do physical? Asymmetrical changes.
Well, I know for me, it's having my guy group, basically every morning. Text out what we did that day.
Oh, I like that,
Yeah.
little accountability,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think eating whole food is part of physical change.
Sure,
Because once you put in your body, it doesn't matter, like you get out, like better, you get up in a better mood and stuff like that, like.
love it, yeah,
you know.
and that crossed over into mental too, great. We're both financial. Asymmetrical changes for financial.
They have those books where you put in like $1 a day into a fund.
Yeah, love it, $1 a day, more like a Robinhood account, right?
Stuff, gross.
That's not gross, yeah. Small deposits, right? How about the other way? How about, don't go out to lunch once a month?
Yeah.
Make your coffee like fire.
Small asymmetrical changes, right? So I want to take you guys through, with a couple minutes to go. I want to take you guys through some asymmetrical things you can change inside of your business, okay? Inside of your business. So, all the action, like the long-term action that you guys create in your lives, are all downstreams of something you consume. Would you agree? Right? Whether you read a book, you listen to a podcast, your friend says something, right? Like, I had a friend who I thought was really cool. He wanted to be a doctor, so I did pre-med in college. That did not work out so well. But, these are things that we consume, right? So here you guys are on a Tuesday. You could be doing a lot of different things, and you're here consuming, right? So continue to consume. Big asymmetrical change for your business. Has anybody ever seen the Eisenhower matrix?
No.
Okay. So it's basically the idea that we've separated the important and the not important, right? So basically everything in your life everything you need to do gets separated into important and non-important, and then urgent and non-urgent, right? And so you guys get the difference between urgent and important? So everything in the that's urgent and important, you want to do, right? These are things that like pick your mom at the ear. Urgent, important. Time deadline, also important to you. So we want to do those. Everything that's not important and not urgent, we want to delete. That's doom scrolling on Instagram, right? We want to delete those. Here's where the biggest problem happens, is the difference between not important, non-urgent, and urgent, not important. And this is where we flip, okay? So urgent, not important is your email inbox, okay? Urgent, not important is the client that wants you to run comps on the 17th house because they're urgent, not urgent, okay? Important, not urgent is my relationship with my daughter, my health, my relationship with my significant other, right? My friendships. What's that? Lead generation, perfect, yeah, exactly. Lead generation is important, not urgent. So what happens when something that's urgent, not important comes? We drop the important, non-urgent, and we go after the urgent, non-important. It's just, we're just hardwired that way, especially realtors, right? So my favorite example is for, when my daughter was in 6th grade, I would go pick her up from school on every Thursday, and I'd take her to get bubble tea, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, okay? Now, I hate bubble tea, but she loves it, okay? So it was my chance to like talk with her, hang out with her, probably lasted an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, something crazy, and then I'd drop her back off and go back to work, okay? Now, I have a business with 12 agents and 5 full-time administrators. I also serve clients, and I promise you, every Thursday there was a fire. Every single Thursday, right? Every single Thursday, something more urgent came up. And if I didn't honor my schedule, I would have canceled it all the time. Because if I cancel that with my daughter, nothing bad's gonna happen. If I don't go to the gym today, nothing bad's gonna happen. If I don't see my wife today, nothing bad's gonna happen, right? If I don't call my 100 circle dials today, nothing bad's gonna happen. This is trading your future for your present, right? Because your future is all in here. It's all in the important, non-urgent. Your June's business is in there, your health when you're 60 is in there, everything's in here. And so the calendar, being able to schedule it and honor your calendar is the only way to make sure your important, not urgent, doesn't get replaced by your urgent, not important. That makes sense? This is the Eisenhower matrix. And it's like when something comes in, you just think to yourself, is this important, not urgent, or is this urgent, not important? Right? Because these are odds. These are pretty easy, right? But these two are the times, right? These two are the times. So that's a little asymmetric case for you. If you can start to delineate between these two things, you're really going to start to make some real progress in your business. Because at all the real progress, like we didn't get into this to sell a house. We got into this for something significantly bigger. Does that make sense? So selling a house might be in here, right? But wealth is up. That's what we're after. Like, cool. All right. I'm gonna end on another asymmetric exercise that you guys can do when you get home. Not gonna have time. But so this is another more learning story. So he was talking to his driver. Warren Buffett has a driver. That makes sense, right? Yeah, he should. His driver was talking about financial decisions, things that he needed to do, right? And he was, I think he was trying to, the driver at the time was trying to build a business. He said, listen, I want you to make a list of the 25 priorities for you to accomplish in your business. Right? So you make the list of 25 priorities. And then he says, once you make that list, you made the list, you brought it back to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says, great, I want you to pick 3 to 5 of that list. Pick 3 to 5. I want you to circle them. And so the guy circled 5. And then Warren Buffett says, what do you think you should do with the other 20? And the guy says, I should, like, when I have some extra time, I can do some of those other 20. And Warren Buffett said, no, that's your avoid at all costs. And that was really powerful, right? Because there's so many directions that we can go. And life is more about direction than speed, right? You're running fast in the wrong direction. Now you're getting farther than if you just stood still. That makes sense? So direction, if you get direction and speed, then you're then you're gonna go ahead and stuff, right?
Shout outs to the place.
Yeah, sure. So, so the key is direction, and there's so many things you can do with your business. You can go in any which way. The 3 to 5 most effective things that, usually when you circle 3 to 5, by the way, they're gonna correspond with your strengths. Right? And they're also gonna be the highest impact. And the high impact. Let's put it on pause here. So. The energy creating high competency zone, by the way, all of you have a genius zone. So if you divide your activities between energy creating and energy draining, and then you divide it between low competency and high competency. Every single one of you has a zone of genius. That's where your high competency and your energy creation meet. Does that make sense? And that's where your 3 to 5 things go. And those are gonna have the highest impact on your life. They're gonna have the highest impact on your business. And everything else, by the way, a lot of them are gonna be here in this high competency energy draining section. And that's the zone of danger, right? Someone told you were good at it, so you just kept doing it, right? It doesn't bring you energy. And now, this doesn't mean don't do it, it just means either find a way to make it energy creating for you, so we talk about circle dialing a lot, find a way to make it energy creating for you, or abandon it and then find something in your genius, right? So, that's the to-list exercise. That's it, that's what I got. Can you guys tell me some takeaways that you have from today?
Start with that.
Yeah. I think one of the takeaways was, think of the timberlines, and kind of look at the full pie
Yep.
and understand where you are in your life. That's what I took away.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love anything but zero confidence.
Yeah.
And it's like, we all have those days where we just don't want to move our feet.
Yep.
And even on those days, just making slow progress. Whether it's here, whether it's the days you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to go to
Yeah.
family function, whatever it may be, you just show up. You drag your body there, and the rest will follow.
Yep. Yeah. What else?
It's really difficult when I have a bajillion things that all seem like they're top priority and all seem like they're necessary, but this gives you a map in order to actually see in reality what's important, because a lot of these urgent things can seem like they need to be done right now, but maybe they can be scheduled for later. So I like having a visual and having a system that breaks down exactly how to prioritize everything that seems like a priority right now,
Yeah.
so that I can get it all done.
Yeah.
I think you kind of describe life as having seasons, so you kind of focus on whatever season you're in.
Yep.
Kind of
Yeah. Stops you from having to like judge yourself by anybody else's game.
Yeah.
Right? Cool, that's your season. That's awesome. Your body looks amazing. Mine is not. It's your season. Cool.
So I have a question.
Yeah,
Can we go back and redo that panel?
yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I asked you a question, Robin. Let's talk about work-life balance, something that we're all looking to solve. How do you manage to grow your relationships, do things that you enjoy, spend time with your family, while also growing a massive real estate business? What's your key to work-life balance?
I would say it's intentional. Like I'm not gonna have the time to give to all the things that I want to. And give the time I need to my business. Right, so I don't, I'm not. Able to count as much time as I would like with people that I love, so I gotta make that time. Lance?
Awesome, thank you.
So My email address is, robin.martin@premierhometeam.com. ROBIN.MARTIN @premier, team, TEAM. Home team, team.com, yeah. This book really changed my life. And so if you email me your name and your address, I'll buy it. Okay?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.